band down. Now you can go and play it like you're all rock and roll. But fuse does a job on each and every man's soul. And when your head hits the pillow with the knife on, you can bet your life that it's gonna be a fight, y'all. Cause we all make mistakes sometimes, and we've all stepped across that line. But nothing sweeter than the things we find. Forgiveness, forgiveness.
Welcome to Becoming Beautiful You Inside Podcast. I am your host, Winona, and I love this song. This song is called Forgiveness. The artist is Toby Mac featuring Lecrae. And this is such a powerful message as it relates to becoming beautiful you on the inside, because forgiveness, learning how to forgive, is part of the healing process. And so becoming beautiful you is, the message is healing. Healing is a process. Becoming beautiful you on the inside is a process of healing. And so I wanted to start off with that song there as an introduction to tonight's subject, which is forgiveness. Now, I own no rights to that song. So I want to, as an opener for tonight's subject, dealing with learning to walk in forgiveness, learning how to forgive, I just want to open up with a testimony of an experience that I had years ago with a friend of mine. You know, we had been friends for over 10 years, and there was a situation where gossip got started, and the gossip was about me. And so, you know, I was really hurt because this was someone that I did consider a friend. You know, this was someone that I had put confidence in, that I could trust. You know, the information that I was sharing would just stay between her and I. So when the betrayal was revealed, you know, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was hurt, and, you know, I wanted nothing to do with her at all. I cut off all connections, and this went on for months and months. And then I remember one night I had a dream, and in the dream I can remember I was holding on to this hand. All I could see was this hand, and as I was holding on to the hand, I began to slip. My hand began to lose grip from the hand that I was holding on to. So I found myself slipping down, you know, getting ready to fall. And so I remember, you know, when I did fall, I immediately woke up. And when I woke up from that dream, it was like I had the immediate interpretation that that dream related to the situation with my friend concerning the betrayal, you know, and me holding a grudge against her, walking in unforgiveness. And so that dream was really, that hand represented the hand of God, and letting me know, because I would not forgive her, that, you know, God could not forgive me. And so that my hand began to slip and lose, you know, that connection with God because of the unforgiveness that I was holding on to. Because, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, how can we expect God to forgive us if we don't forgive? So that dream was such a powerful impact in my life, where I did eventually get around to the point, because I'm a woman of faith, you know, and I believe in the Bible, that I needed to forgive her. It was time for me to release all of that unforgiveness, release all of that anger and that hurt and that frustration, and just forgive her. And so what I did was, I did call her and express, number one, I expressed the feelings that I had about that situation, how, you know, she made me feel. But I also asked her for forgiveness. So of course she did forgive me, and we were able to mend that relationship. But, you know, it's so key that we learn how to walk in forgiveness, because there is power in forgiveness. When you are able to forgive, not just a person that, you know, may have betrayed you, but when you're able to forgive yourself, it's like a release that takes place, a release for you to no longer be stuck, a release for you to now move forward with your life, move forward in the things that God has for you. And it's a release for you to receive the healing that needs to come out of that situation. Amen. And so I meet people who, they either find it difficult to forgive or they just flat out don't want to forgive. I can remember, let me just share what happens when you just made a decision. You know what? You're not going to forgive this person. You're going to hold this grudge and you don't care what nobody have to say about encouraging you to forgive. Because I knew someone that they held on to so much unforgiveness till it got to the point where it just became like a tormenting spirit. And I'm talking about things that happened like 10, 20 years ago in their past, and they refused to let it go. And so at that point it had festered. That root of bitterness grew into that unforgiveness grew into a root of bitterness where they were now tormented from their past, tormented from all of that hurt, tormented from having to repeat over and over in their mind that same scenario, that same conversation, that same portrayal. And that is not healthy, because what also begins to happen is, that can also fester into, sickness or stress. I've heard where people have physical stress symptoms where they lose their hair, or they overeat or undereat, whatever the condition, or could even fester into a sickness. So I have heard all of those stories. So that's why it's so important that we learn how to walk in forgiveness, that we learn how to forgive, because it is key to your overall health, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That's why I say there is so much power in forgiveness. And let me just touch on this key about learning how to forgive yourself. That is, because we can blame ourselves for past mistakes, past wrong decisions that we've made. Guess what? Those past mistakes, those wrong decisions, those are learning lessons in our journey of life that we take with us. Yes, we made a mistake. Yes, we made a bad choice. But don't hold yourself hostage in unforgiveness because of the mistake or the decision, the wrong decision that you made. That's part of life. That's part of growing. That's part of learning. So the important factor is, thinking about what can you take away from that wrong mistake or that wrong decision. How can you grow from that? What can you change about yourself, when it comes to making decisions or making choices for yourself. So that is so key, not to hold yourself hostage because of unforgiveness, because of a bad mistake that you made, a bad decision. Learn from that and take that learning lesson with you and move on, because there is so many doors that God has for you, so many promises. So when we hold ourselves hostage, we can't access those doors because we have to forgive. Amen. If God forgave us, then we need to forgive ourselves. And so, I just wanted to, talk about forgiveness on tonight because it is such a powerful healing process. Being able to forgive, being able to let go of the past, all of that hurt, all of the shame, all of that guilt, all of that can be wrapped up in that root of bitterness. And so, what God was just revealing to me is about, He's ready to expose roots. Whenever you have a situation, like in my case, I shared my testimony about, being able to forgive the portrayal of my friend. And, I had that dream. That was God actually exposing the root of unforgiveness. When God begins to expose roots of bitterness in your life, that means you're constantly thinking about it. You may have dreams about it, or someone may even come up to you and strike up a conversation, about relating to, not being able to forgive. That's God wanting to expose that root in order for Him to heal you, in order for you to break free, to, cause those chains of bondage to begin to just fall off you so you can move forward, so you can learn how to let go. So that is so key. And so, God when God exposes the root of unforgiveness, that means that he does not just want to put something temporary on it, like putting when we have a sore or a scratch and we put a band-aid on it. That could be a temporary fix. God is not into temporary fix. He's into a full recovery. He's into a total and complete healness. That's what he has for you. And the healed is, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And that is also is the key to help you to becoming beautiful you on the inside. Because becoming beautiful you on the inside, in essence, you're allowing God to make you whole. And being whole means being healed. Amen. And so what I wanted to share with you, were some key steps that I had put in place that, God just revealed to me as it relates to learning how to walk in forgiveness. So I'm going to share 4 key steps with you. And if you can get your journal and write this down, and when you have time, meditate on these key steps. And actually, these are action steps for you. The first key is write down what and who has hurt you and how you may have hurt them in return. For example, was it verbal or physical abuse, dishonesty, neglecting someone you cared about, betrayal, rejection, theft, lying, addiction, adultery, whatever the case may be, that is causing you to hold on to those roots of unforgiveness. Write it down, because when you write down, I believe there's so much healing in writing. There's such a release from those negative situations when we begin to write it down. Because God, that's a form of release that allows God to come in and do the healing that he wants to do. Number 2, write down how you feel about yourself because of these unresolved feelings over your past mistakes. So number 2, key 2 is dealing with self-forgiveness. So I'm going to repeat that. Write down how you feel about yourself because of these unresolved feelings over your past mistakes. And it's so important that you be honest with yourself. Part of healing is when we can get to a place where we are just authentic. We're real. We're honest with ourselves. No more hiding behind masks. And although you may have made amends or been forgiven by others, do you still feel worthy? God knows your heart. I want you to express all of this in your journal as you're writing down about these unresolved feelings of mistakes or bad choices that you have made. Key 3, make a decision. I talk about becoming beautiful you, or another key action step that I did talk about was making a decision. So tonight I want you to make a decision to forgive yourself and make a decision to forgive others. Forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a decision of the will of God. It is a decision that you're making to move forward, to take that next step for your healing, for your breakthrough. Amen. And key number 4, once you write all of that down, guess what you're going to do? You're going to destroy that list that had all of those negative feelings, all the betrayal, all of those situations that's keeping you from forgiving. You're going to destroy that list once you write it down, because in your writing it down, you're releasing it. And once you release it, guess what? We're getting rid of it. It's old news. It's the past. You have let it go, because in that destruction of that negative or unresolved feeling, that unforgiveness, when we destroy that list, it's an exercise of being free. Being free to move forward in the things of God. Amen. So one of the things that I want to also do, I want to also give you this prayer of forgiveness. I want you to pray this. Okay, so take your list to God and acknowledge your forgiveness to him. And I want you to pray this. Lord, I come to you today and give up my unforgiveness. I forgive myself for, and you fill in the blank. At this moment, I choose not to hold these offenses against myself, but put them into your hands. God, heal my emotional wounds and help me to be able to move forward. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. You be